All right. Let's see how many participants we have so far. And from what I can see, we have a couple. We have five people with us here um, today. So we will give it just, I think, like one or two more minutes, maybe even just one more minute for a couple more people to roll in. And then we will begin. We'll begin the webinar here with Matthew and Frank. Matthew, do you want to maybe share your screen with the slides so that people have like
Yeah.
an intro when they come in, and then we'll start off.
Oh, that's lovely. I haven't even seen that.
Yeah, it's very nice, very nice. I think like all the slides are like so aesthetic, and I think that um it's awesome. It's awesome. All right, so it looks like we have six people, and I think that we can begin. I think we're safe to say that whoever else rolls in, it's being recorded. So they can ask for a recording. I think we'll send that over as well. But for everybody that is with us here today, maybe I think most of you are already part of Launch Control. If not, welcome, welcome. I'm Mia. I'm the Director of Customer Success and Community Engagement. And then with me here, I have Matthew and Frank from Land Formula. So do you guys want to introduce yourselves to the people that are watching us here today?
Sure. I'm Frank Guerin. I've been a full-time land investor for almost 6 years now. And along with Matthew, I love to help other people achieve the same kind of levels of success that we have.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Matthew, do you want to give us a little bit of a short
Yeah.
introduction to you as well?
Hey everybody, I'm Matthew. I am not from the US, as you can tell from my accent. I'm from sunny England, and it was actually sunny today, so that was very nice.
Nice.
I've been working with Frank since 2020 on the land business, and what we've really focused on is working together to operationally scale everything. So it's been an interesting time. We're excited to show you some of the stuff we've been up to and some of the things that we think are important on building a six-figure land business and why there's so much opportunity out there right now.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. I'm excited as well. I think that every single person that we work here has something to, bring to the users of Launch Control, maybe some tips and tricks, something insider. People always love that as well. And for the people that are watching currently, there is a Q&A section that we will, um, keep an eye on just to make sure that we're answering everybody's questions. So I encourage everybody to ask their questions. There's also just a chat box where you guys can put your questions there. And we also have the option for you guys to actually speak with us. So while we're showing the slides, while we're talking about everything, doing a demo, giving you guys an intro, all that good stuff. If you guys want to, jump in and ask us a question and talk to us, actually, go for it. You can do that. I love when people interact. I think it's fun for you to get to know us and for us to get to know you guys. So that's what I wanted to let the people watching here today know. And that is about it. I think Matthew can take us away through the slides, give us an intro on land formula, and we will go through that.
Absolutely. Thank you, Mia.
Of course.
So I think the first place we wanted to start is talking about land just in general, because one of the things that's often very uh, exciting when you come across land and the opportunities in it is
Hmm.
the ability to make sizable profits very, very quickly. And what we found over the last five, nearly 6 years is that it's actually pretty easy to do that. You can find deals pretty much any place. What's more difficult is how you then take that and make it into an actual business.
That's right.
And that's where the whole cadence of operational excellence, marketing, sales systems, KPIs, and using the right platform come into place. And I think that's where we have very much focused on building that business so that rather than it just being something that you do as a side hustle, you actually focus on it and make it a full-time, really successful business and bring that level of consistency to it. So the
Perfect.
reason why, we kind of came up with this and discussed it and obviously worked with you on this is because obviously right now the land investment space is booming significantly. There is lots of opportunities out there. The market is very buoyant. We've been through different presidencies, and that has been interesting in terms of the energy and what's coming out in terms of what people are willing to do. We've been through various economic cycles too. And right now we're in a really strong position because we're seeing people coming back to us that we've follow up with after years of speaking to them who are now in the market and ready to go. So it's really, really
Good.
interesting. And for us, SMS is really the backbone of that whole deal flow, and hence why we're obviously doing this webinar today. And I think the piece that we want to share today and get across to people is consistency, because consistency really gives you that level
Yeah,
of results that is easy to get to if you are consistent. And we'll share some of the things that we do. And obviously, when we get into Q&A, we may have some different questions that people have got. But it is easy to get consistency. It's more difficult to get consistent results. And hopefully, by the end of this webinar, you'll have some ideas about some of the routes that you could take to go down in order to get consistent results, which is what we're obviously aiming to do every day.
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. And Matthew, I mean, before you go to the next slide, I honestly can't agree with you more in terms of what you mentioned. The KPIs, the tracking, the consistency. I think what a lot of people think is that, and it's fair, there's a lot of things going on social media. What people think is, I'm going to get rich quick. I'm going to get into this. It's going to be quick. It's going to be good. It is going to be good and it is going to pay off. But what you need to do is have that consistency. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but it does pay off. And it's a nice thing for you to have. And for KPIs, again, cannot agree with you more. And I'm going to show everybody like what the platform looks like, how we help people track KPIs, how your dedicated TME helps you track KPIs and all of those things. And for people that are watching that are not sure what KPIs are, they are key performance indicators. So those are things that you set up for yourself, or let's say simply they're like little goals that you set up for yourself that if you reach them, you're doing good. If you're reaching those goals and you're reaching those numbers per se, that means that you're performing good. If not, then there's something that you can do. But I think that again, I couldn't agree more with you, Matthew, with whatever you just said. So absolutely.
Yeah, and I think that then leads us through into obviously why we're using launch control.
All right.
Well,
Awesome. Yeah, Frank, go ahead.
for me, it is the platform of choice, and I'm not just saying it just because we're on this call. We were using Launch Control for how long before we even talked to anybody there, Matthew, right? To build the
Yeah,
business.
definitely. I mean, an interesting side story is, we used to primarily make offers and convert deals and close without talking to anybody. We just did it all via SMS, via launch control, which is why for us it's so powerful. Sorry to interrupt, Frank, but yeah, I mean that's what we used to do. We've advanced significantly since then. But yeah, back to you, Frank.
It's interesting. Yeah, you remind me of that because I used to close PAs without even talking to the person. I'm looking around for the hidden camera. I'm like, is this business real? But I'll tell you what, Launch Control is our lead management, our lead dispatch system. It absolutely is the platform of choice. I mean, it was built. Thing I love about it is built specifically for land investors. Um, and it's proven scale safe infrastructure, meaning as you get bigger, you know that these guys have your back. In other words, if we have a problem with deliverability, hey, you just get somebody right on support right away, you know? And it's designed for you to grow with it. It's designed to keep moving. And it's also designed for real conversations, not just spamming people and just jamming out a
That's right.
million messages. This is like legitimate, serious business here. So we've been absolutely delighted with the program, the platform itself.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, I know that I mentioned to you guys when we talked about this like some months ago and whenever we get to touch base, but I really am glad to hear that. I think when I started in launch, I started off as a customer success manager, just, normal someone talking to users. One of the things that made me want to grow and just made the job so special was to was to be able to see people's success stories and to grow with them. And you create such a relationship with people that I know you guys work with Patrick closely on the team, but you create these relationships where you almost want to tell your dedicated TME or dedicated CSM when you win. You're like, oh my God, we just closed this, or oh my God, we just made this much money, or hey, this is awesome. You create that relationship up. And I think that's where our value lies as well. We are, as you mentioned, really there to support people when they grow, when they're having troubles. We want to get to know your goals, everything like that. So, absolutely. And obviously, I'm glad to hear that. And before I start off with our platform demo and share some secret stuff with you guys here on the call, we have a question from Mark Hudson who asked, Frank, what volume of texts do you send a month?
Uh, Over to you, Matthew. The multiplying effect is
Yeah, so we
leading the
essentially
talk.
are currently sending out 36,000 text messages a month, 1,200 a day. We do that Monday through Saturday, just have Sundays off because depending on where people are in the US, some people don't like getting text messages on Sundays and some people are open to
That's
it.
right.
But we've tested it and it doesn't work for us in terms of response rate. So yeah, Monday to Friday, we're sending out 1,200 text messages.
Nice. Nice, nice. And I agree on that as well. Weekend stuff. We also try to make sure that people follow that as well. Like when people are like, what days should we or we shouldn't text? I would say Sundays are a safe bet not to. There are some states that also aren't good on Saturdays, but again, your dedicated TME is there to help you. You need to know things specific to your market, so not much you need to know for other people. Okay, looks like we do have another question. So, what is the best day and time for response rates? I know that we have our general best practice, but Frank and Matthew, is there anything you guys noticed that stood out for you guys using launch control specifically for response rates?
Effectively, it's generally Tuesday through Thursday. Uh,
Yeah,
they're
that's what
normally
I'd
the
say.
best response rates, and timing wise, it doesn't matter too much. We're generally sending out our messages roughly anytime from 10 a.m. Eastern through, say, 2 p.m. Eastern, which will be across a variety of different states. So it's not just Eastern, it goes all the way through to Pacific, etc. But yeah, Tuesday through Thursdays for sure, between 10 and 2 for us. It's not to say that there are other times that may be better. It's just that's what works for us and what we do.
Nice, nice. So that's cool. That's cool to hear. Honestly, I think that you guys got that specifically down, like Tuesday to Thursdays from 10 to 2. That's cool. I think that's part of why you guys say you consistently keep up with your KPIs and you track everything. So it's cool that you guys actually know something like that, that it works for you in the market that you're in. Usually what we say, like normally in terms of response rates, is like the best in the morning when people are having breakfast, at lunchtime when people are having lunch, and after hours in terms of like when people are home, they're watching TV. That's when people are most likely to be on their phones. But this is interesting that you guys mentioned Tuesday, Thursday from 10 to 2, which makes sense. I think Mondays are for everybody, like they don't want to talk to anybody. So that does make sense. And thank you guys for that as well.
Sure.
And I think that since it looks like we don't have any questions at this moment, I will take over and share the dashboard here. And you guys will let me know once you're able to see it. And I think that you're able to see it. Just let me know if that's right.
Yes, yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. And we do have a follow-up here. So 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday to Thursday, is that only 3 days? I think that it is, but I think that what they meant was more so like response rates are highest in there in that time. But you guys do text from Monday to Saturday, right?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Yeah,
text 6 days a
yeah,
week, and the best response rates are Tuesday through Thursday that
yeah,
we've seen.
and some of them are marginal in the sense of some weeks it will differ, but that's
Right.
averaged out over like 3 years worth of data. They are the best days, but the marginal percentage of that, you maybe talk
Mhm.
about 3 to 4% better than say Mondays to Fridays, but that's still better.
Yeah, yeah, that's still better than the numbers on the other days. So I think that's awesome. And I think that what you mentioned, the 3 years worth of data, that is a lot. That is something that gives you um, good statistics. So awesome there. And I'll keep an eye out on the chat while I'm doing the demo as well. I will have you guys, I'm going to be looking at this screen because I'm a little blind. So this is the little screen, this is the big screen while I'm showing you guys the demo.
Welcome to
as you
my
can
world,
see.
Mia.
Yeah, right. I have two. I have a monitor here, which is huge, and I'm like, okay, I need to look here, but don't think I'm not watching you guys. I can still see you. So I still have everybody here. But well, I do have this up on the platform. I'm going to give you guys just a short high overview of the way that the launch platform works, and then some of the specific things that we have for land buyers. Um, One thing that I will say is we are making really, really big changes to the platform itself. And I think that I gave a little bit of a sneak peek to Matthew and Frank, was it like a couple of days ago when we were meeting just to do some prep for the webinar? And we're completely shifting the platform. So what we're saying is we've built it from the ground up again. We're going to do an AI sending algorithm type of thing with the platform where you have a lot of less restrictions. You're still compliant. That's our number one thing. We still want to make sure that you're compliant. You have about 20 to 25% more messages when it comes to the new plans that we're doing. And you're also going to have an AI template builder. So I know the biggest thing for people is less content restrictions. That has been one of the biggest hurdles and the pain points within the industry, regardless if you're doing land, houses, whatever. That has been one of the biggest hurdles. And I think people are excited. I know that we did a little bit of a test group with some people to just to see how that's going to affect their compliance and their rates, because again, we're big on that. It's been really good. So I'm going to knock on wood for that one, and we're going to bring it out live to everybody. But I wanted to give you guys, the people that are watching, a sneak peek on what's going to happen. Again, less content restrictions. You're still going to be compliant as always, 20 to 25% more messages, and the AI template builder. So that's within the actual platform. Another thing that we are going to be releasing is kind of like a neighborhood market heat map sort of situation. What that's going to show you is on one side of the screen, you're going to see how you're performing when you're competing with the people on the same plan as you. So, for example, if you're on the light plan and there's somebody else on the light plan, and maybe let's say you're not sending out your full daily limit or you're not sending out as many drips as you should. We're basically going to put all of those statistics into one. And you're going to see if you send about 10% more of your batches, you can be in the top 2% of people. And these are real statistics from real people using the platform. And on the other side, you're going to be able to see your neighborhood competitiveness statistics. So when you're performing in one market, you're going to be able to see where most of the deals are being made, where most of the people are texting, which is really good because, again, you hear different things and you can see different things on Google, but this way, this is where real people are texting. These are people that are using the platform. So I think it's going to be super cool. I can't show you guys right now because again, it's still something secret, but I wanted to let you guys know before we market it out to everybody. But with that being said, I will start the little demo here. So within Launch Control, this is your dashboard. This is where all those beautiful KPIs and statistics and everything that you want to see, this is where that's going to happen. You can see what's on your plate in terms of unread messages, unanswered, your prospect leads, your lead breakdown, your drip automations, and your top 3 campaigns. For me, I don't know if you and Matthew, you and Frank have anything that you want to add, but for me, the most exciting part is looking at the top 3 campaigns and the lead breakdown. I like seeing this because it kind of gives you that feel of like what's the best performing campaign, what's the best performing area. I mean, when we do kind of like segmentation and then lead breakdown, is nice to see like yesterday, today, this week, this month, how many hot warm nurture leads we have. I don't know if you guys use any more particular sections of this dashboard.
No, it's definitely one that we use to keep an eye on what's happening. I think for us, because we test so many new counties every month, it's
Hmm.
really very useful for us to see what is working and what isn't. Overlaying that with weekly KPIs, really helps keep a handle on where you want to be texting and focusing.
Yes.
Uh, and you brought up an important point as well about the drip campaigns, which we find extremely useful because they're part of the automation process, and that
That's right.
allows you to really focus on uh, making sure that you're still getting out new campaigns, but at the same time, the follow-ups that you need to do are happening. And follow-ups are so, so important. I mean, we've done some deals,
Absolutely.
Frank, haven't we, where people have come back after 12 months, 18 months because we've kept in contact with them.
Absolutely. Circumstances change, you know.
Absolutely. And that's what we say as well. Like the honestly, we say the money is in the follow-ups, right? If somebody's not interested right now, that doesn't mean that they're going to be interested 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, even 6 months down the line. I think that what's the most important part, as you mentioned, following up, keeping in touch. We've also told people that sometimes it's good when you send a message, Happy New Year's, or something like that. You get to know your prospects, and then when you check in, you really stand out from the other people um, that are sending messages. What you mentioned about the counties, I see we have a question in the chat, so I will get to
Yeah,
that. But
I thought it's a big question, but
yes, it
let's answer it after you've done more of the demo, because yeah,
yes, it's a big, big question, but just great. I love it. I love when people participate. This is what we want.
definitely.
But what I wanted to mention, which is really big with land buyers that you mentioned, is testing out different counties, different areas, and things like that. Also, with the new changes, well, recently what we've changed is that you can have up to 7 markets on each plan. So it's really nice. I think before we had like one or two, and then you had about 4 or 5. Now you can have up to 7, regardless of the plan that you're on. You can switch them. You can allocate your limits however you want, which is good for testing, as you mentioned. With this
Brilliant.
new switch, we're gonna make it basically unlimited. Land buyers love that. I think that's one of the biggest feedback that we got when we were gathering feedback for like a new release or changes to the platform, is they just wanted some more market flexibility. And obviously, what our users want, we're going to do our best to give it to them, right? So, another thing, another sneak peek, as they say. But let's see if we can answer this question. So, at some point, the leads run out. So, you have to expand into other areas. How do you handle zoning and other regulatory changes that vary from county to county, city to city, and even from one parcel to another? How do you base your offers, and when you don't know the area, sorry, and who are your main buyers, and what's the hardest part of this business for you? So, um, Matthew and Frank, do you guys want to go through some of these questions? I think it's all good. I have the screen
Yeah.
up here. I will go through the demo. I think I would love to get people's questions answered while they're hot. So that's if you guys want, you can take over some of those questions there.
Yeah, definitely. I'll go through the first two, and then if you want to step in on the second two, Frank, that'd be great.
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
in terms of leads and going into other areas, you don't really have to worry too much about zoning and regulatory changes because in essence, what we're doing at this stage is brokering a conversation with someone to see is there an appetite for sale? Because of the access to data, which is pretty cheap, you can instantly see what land is available that is unsold, what is
Nice.
vacant, and you can be very targeted in your approach, even down to postcode level if you want to. So, really, what we're always focused on is vacant, undeveloped land, raw land in essence. So that doesn't generally have many issues regarding zoning and regulatory changes. Now, there are occasionally some counties where there are mineral rights, and that can sometimes get a little bit messy. But more often than not, it's really just a case of testing to see what response you get back. And that test will give you a lot of valuable information. Uh, Now, in terms of how do you base your offers when you don't really know the area? Well, we've gone through various iterations of this. When we originally started, we comped as the data came in and the seller started working with us, and we do those individually one by one using things like Zillow, Realtor.com, all of the different various websites out there. We're slightly more advanced now. We have our own comp team, and effectively we use various software programs and AI tools to essentially comp pretty much. I don't know, we generally do anything from 20 to 40 a day. It depends. So we're doing quite a lot of comps every day. And in essence, those comps are generally, I'd say, within 10 to 15% of the actual value in terms of if a realtor then goes and looks at it. There's always a little bit where you can't quite get it exact. Uh, and we do use a lot of realtors, which is something that we can talk about later on. But yeah, basing your offers, you can do a pretty good offer from just things like Zillow and XO and all the platforms that are out there. Now we have slightly better AI tools. Our offers are even more specific, but yeah, it's definitely
Nice.
possible to do.
Awesome.
Who are your main buyers? That's a great question too. I would say it depends. I mean, I can remember one of the first sales we made in North Carolina was a fella that his whole family kind of lived on this one road, and we had a vacant lot on it, and he wanted to buy it so he could be on the same street. So there's people that are looking to build a house on it. We had another one in Colorado a couple years ago or so. The guy bought 30 or 40 acres from us just to stargaze, to set up his telescope and look at the
Oh,
moon and
that's
the
cool.
yeah, I mean, so it varies. Usually it's people that are going to build. We like to get things sort of ready in the sense that what we'll do is we try to make curb appeal improvements, but not drastic ones. Like in North Carolina, we'll open up a view if it's a southern view of a mountain, or we'll throw down some rock and make a little sort of basic driveway so they can get in and kind of envision where the lay of the land where the house would go and so forth. But it really does vary. Um, I mean, we've had 9 calls. I'm just watching my phone light up here because it's rush hour for the West Coast leads. But 9 calls in 27 minutes. Plus, Matthew, I just messaged you. We also have a offer in Colorado again, which is from a realtor, to sell, which is pretty.
Nice.
It just goes to show you how you can do this
Great.
multitasking, and it's
Making deals,
crazy.
we're doing webinars.
Yeah, check this out, guys.
Good.
He says, "Hey Frank, Tyler, give me a call when you're ready. I'm getting ready to write up another offer on that property. Give me a
Nice.
shout back. I can tell you what it is verbally, but we want to take this one. All right, talk to you soon." So that's just I can't
Awesome.
make that up. That just came in, you
I
know?
love it. I love it.
Yeah, and
Real-time leads. Love it. Love
right.
it.
So your main buyers, it depends. I mean, mostly it's people that just want land, and I'll tell you what, unrestricted land is the way to go. A little inside tip, HOA stuff we sell all the time. The unrestricted is basically getting to be a little bit of a price premium and certainly more desirable. Um, the hardest part of this business for you, I'll answer for Matthew. His hardest part of the business is probably working with me because I'm a salesman type and he's an analyst. So there's that interface is a little, we get along good. We're great friends, but
Good.
I'm like, why can't we sell? And he's like, no, well, here's why. But all kidding aside, for me, it's just staying on top of things. We went from a two-person operation, Matthew and I, a couple years ago to 7 people total now. And,
Wonderful.
all of a sudden I'm a manager, I'm delegating, I'm analyzing and all this stuff. And it's quite humbling to think that we've done this in a little over half a decade, from literally from an idea and scratch. I approached Matthew and I said, "Hey, I'm looking to get into land investing. I know you do stuff in the UK. What do you think?" And from that one meeting, this whole crazy business has grown from it. And a steady year on. I mean, we doubled our business last year. We'll double it again this year, God willing. So,
Wonderful.
what about you, Matthew? What's the hardest part besides working with me?
Too generous, Frank. Too generous. It's not that hard. I mean, I think the hardest part of any business is having consistency and drilling down when something goes wrong to understand why it's gone wrong, what you can then do about it. And I think if you keep that in focus at all times, then it will happen for you. Aside from that, pretty much most of what is day-to-day operational responsibility is essentially, being run by the team. So it's really just myself and Frank at the stage of being there for them in terms of management and delegation and direction, which isn't necessarily that hard. It's just sometimes letting go can be hard. Just, when you've built up, essentially a business and you've been doing everything, and then suddenly it's like, right, we have staff now, so let's stop doing that. That can sometimes be difficult, but that's the only way of growing and scaling a business for sure. Uh, I see T. I don't know what T's. I think it's T. I don't know who this
Yeah, I
person is.
don't
But
know that character, but
thanks,
yeah.
thanks for the questions. I love them. Uh, do we advertise on sites like Landsearch and Land.com? I mean, we originally sold everything ourselves. So we did advertise on Lands of America. Oh, okay, it's Dan. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Dan,
Hey, Dan.
advertised on Lands of America, Land Search, all kinds of places. Spent a lot of money with a lot of companies that were pretty
Hmm.
useless. Spent some little less money with other companies that were pretty good. But I would say at this moment in time, because we have so many deals and we are closing on stuff literally every week, we do everything through realtors. So essentially, we get them to do the marketing. We do advertise on social media platforms as well, just to get an extra bump because our aim is to sell very quickly. But yeah, there are lots of sites out there you can advertise on if you want to do it yourself. Uh, a top tip I'd give you if you want to go and do it yourself is use a website called Brokerless. That gets you on pretty much all of them for about $99, $150. But if you want to be serious about the business and scaling it, at some point you will want to work with realtors because a good realtor is worth their weight in gold. A bad realtor, on the other hand, and Frank can tell you many stories about this, but we haven't actually got time for those
Yeah,
stories
don't
because
get
you'll
me
be here all
started.
night.
We
A
can do
bad,
part two.
yeah, a bad realtor can, really decimate and impact your business. And we're very open and honest about where we've come from and where we're going.
Yeah.
Let's just put it this way: we won't be buying a cliff anytime soon. Thank you very much, Mr. Realtor, who got that wrong. And these are just things that you learn over time, and you put in new safeguards, new
Yeah,
measures, new sign-off processes until you get to the stage where we're at now, which is where pretty much every deal comes in, and then 110, 107 days later, it's sold. It's just a
wonderful.
system, but you have to work through that system in order to make sure you're putting safeguards in place.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I love this was so cute. This was awesome. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna show the platform, and then we got a lead, we got a bunch of good questions answered, and this is what I love. I think this is the best part about getting to sit in front of with you guys and with people and having that conversation. So I'm really glad that people are participating, and I encourage a lot of people to to participate as well. But to make sure that we keep everything in line, I'm going to be the little manager here right now. I'm going to just go a little bit again through the platform, and then we've got a bunch of other things, exciting things to share with you guys as well. So we went through the dashboard. That's all good. Here you also have your inbox. This is where everything happens. This is where the action happens. This is where you spend most of your time within your account. This is where you're going to get your replies as well. We also have a mobile app you can get replies to. So if you're on the go, if you're moving around, super easy. You can get replies there too. But within the inbox, I'm not going to go super granular into it. I'm just going to give you that high level overview. You can filter by status. You can filter by campaigns, users, tags. You also have your reminders and you have your missed calls as well. So we did recently add a two-way dialer, which was one of the biggest requests that we've had in quite a while on the platform. And the way the two-way dialer works is once somebody replies to you within the inbox, you're able to give them a call and they're able to call you. Now, one of the good things is that if somebody receives a text from you and they do not reply, they can still give you a call. So you won't be unreachable to them. They can still give you a call. The only downside is you won't be able to give them a call, but after that it's super easy. Just shift the conversation over to the inbox. They can reply, you can give them a call back, or as we say, you can also take them into your external CRM or take them over to a number that you want. The point is that you got that lead and you got in touch with them. Here's where you would call to make here's where you would call to make the call. Here's where you would click to make the call. And this is what the inbox actually looks like. This is where you would see your conversations. Up here, you would see the numbers that you use. So usually you can have up to three numbers within the inbox itself. Here's where you would send messages. You would see the number. Now, the number that you text is the same number that you're calling from. So that's another value point there where people don't get confused. You have more chances of getting in touch with them and building that trust because again, it's the same number, and people really do value that. Here you also have the information about that prospect. So you have the name, you have the property address, you have this little cool tool, which is like show on map, and then you have the land details. So this is more specifically for you guys, right? APN, county, and acreage. And what I'm going to show you real soon here is when you import your data, this is actually something you can import. So this is something really useful. Then you have high details or show land details, and you have Zillow listings, Google Maps, and all those little kind of buttons that we have up here for you guys to use, some features. Here you have the tags, so you can make custom tags as well. Just in case, let's say you don't like the statuses that we use, or you want something in between that status, or if you want something like, I know that we had a land buyer that used them for like utilities, if something is landlocked, if something is close, because usually that's pretty much the same within each parcel there. So they use those tags as well. Here you can see activity, so what was done, and you can do notes. For some people that don't use an external CRM, this is a big value point for them because they use launch control as their mini CRM with the notes, with the statuses, tags, and so on. But that's pretty much it in terms of the inbox. That's where all that action happens. I'm not going to show you all the granular stuff as I mentioned. But Matthew and Frank, do you have anything that you want to add within the inbox before I just go over to the direct import section, which I think is the most exciting part too?
I'll say one thing. Um, I'm getting sentimental here because 2, 3, 4 years ago, I was in here every day doing all this stuff, and I
Oh,
haven't touched this side of it in a little bit. And I remember how easy everything was, and how you
that's
could
right.
you could follow up with people. You knew who to talk to first, you knew who to talk to second, and so forth. And it's just, I'm excited. When did you say those improvements were coming out?
Well, technically, they're already out. I'm going to get Patrick to kind of see with you guys if you want to be part of the test group, but they'll be coming up pretty soon here. I think I don't want to lie or promise anything to anyone, but I'm going to say like a week or two max, and then we'll be pushing it out to everybody. And I think we'll go celebrate, as everybody says. So yeah,
We'd love to
should be here
test
pretty
it.
soon.
Excellent.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. Then I'll get you guys in that
Yeah,
test group.
I'd, I'd say the other thing that is really useful in the inbox too, Mia, is just the ability to use tags because this allows you to really manage what's going on with
Yes,
the different leads that are in the inbox. And it also allows different team members, if you get to that stage, but even if you don't,
that's
you can
right.
still use the tags to know exactly where you are with a lead. So when you're getting started, you can use this for a bit to get going for sure. And it's just really, really useful because it allows you to see instantly, well, where are you with things and where, is there an action for someone to take, for instance?
That's
So
right.
we use this every day. And as an example, one of the tags that we've got is a tag for our comp analyst to do a comp. And then there's another tag when the comp is done to say that now is the time to make an offer. And that's
Perfect.
why the system is really good. Uh, it's very versatile and it's instantly visible for the team to see, well, what does need working on now? What's my prioritization? Where do I go next? And as Frank says, it's amazing when you send out a message and you start getting the replies back. It's in instant time, and you can literally be on a text message with someone replying back. So really good.
It's it's crazy. Before I like if I would send out a batch of back in the old days when I was doing it 600 a day, by the time I got through sending out the first few hundred, I already had phone calls and responses. It was amazing. I remember the
Yes,
first time that happened, I was like, you have to be kidding me. But it works. It definitely works. I mean, we're no different than you guys. Just been doing it a little bit longer and working it a little bit harder, maybe over the years. But there's no difference between us and what anybody else here can achieve. I mean, we're products of the system and just putting the time in.
absolutely. Absolutely. And this is nice. I think it's cool to see. It's emotional for Frank, and Matthew's like, yeah, I do this every day. Like, yeah, that's great. But yeah, that's good. And I love that you guys gave some examples for tags too. They're fully customizable, right? I mean, it's launch control is there to make it work for your business. As a platform, it's there to send messages, right? But it's the people that made the features. Every feature here has been made through people like you guys. What do you need, right? We gave you the messaging capability. Now, what do you need to make it work for you. And so that's where that customization comes comes in. Um, Outside of the inbox here, let me see what is the engagement rate for 1200 daily texts. I don't know if you guys want to go through that as well before I go to the direct import section.
Uh, okay. Well, I mean, it depends. I mean, it does depend a lot. So, as an example, because we're sending out test messages essentially to new counties every single day, and then a portion of our messages is drip campaigns and follow-ups. That is difficult to answer exactly what that is. But what I would say is this, uh, deliverability, typically in the high 90s, anywhere between 92 to 94% typically.
Mhm.
And then response to that does vary. And I would say on average, it's generally no lower than 8 to 9%, but often it's higher. You know, we in some counties have response rates of anywhere from between 14 to 18%. So
Wonderful.
it does depend. But because every day we are essentially doing new counties, I mean every day, uh, it's it's difficult to give an exact number. If we were going back to say one of our favorite counters, and we have favorite counters that we work in all the time in the Carolinas, Colorado, etc., then we'd pretty much have a more understanding guess as to what those rates are. And they're typically high 90s deliverability, and then response rates are like 20 to 30%. But that's because we worked on those for a long time. We have slightly different messaging.
Perfect. Perfect. Well, that's awesome. Let me just go through the direct import section here, and then we can go back to the presentation. I'll go through just a little bit more things here. Again, it's a high level overview. Our onboardings are pretty long, but I think that's what makes them kind of special. You get to answer it all. You get to ask a lot of questions. You get to get into like the granular part of the platform. But in the direct import section, why I think is cool and why I like to show it to people is specifically when we do events for land. And here, let me show you that. So to import a list, it's super easy. You would just, drag and drop a file or click the import section here. Then you can do, this is something for you to fill out, but I will just fill it out here for the sake of the webinar. And then it's easy. It's pretty much just a mapping thing. You do first name, you do last name, and so on and so forth, depending on how much data you actually have within your file. Now, the cool thing is the landowner field. So you would just click here to expand, and then you can map out APN, property county, and acreage. So that is the cool part here. And that was one of the requested things that we had on the platform as well. So once that's imported, just to give you guys that kind of cycle, you would be able to see it here in the inbox of your account. And people love that as well. I think it just gives them more visibility. They know where it is. I mean, it's the same thing. If you're doing a home or land, this is the information that you need, right? So that's the exciting part there. After that, we have options to skip trace. You have your campaigns here. And what I say is your campaign is like your file management system. This is where you're going to segment your counties or segment by land type or whatever makes that thing special. Why it's good to do that? Some people don't. I like to do it and I like to see that people do it, and I recommend it to users because you can see which county is performing the best, what type of land is performing the best, right? You can see it for yourself, right? You can see how many hot leads you have, drips. You can also go in here and see a little bit more statistics, but you can also go to the dashboard and just see what are the top 3 performing campaigns. And when you name them like that, when you segment them through the naming structure, it gives you more visibility, and it's quick visibility. After the campaigns, we have the templates. The way that, again, secret for you guys, right? A little bit of insight is we are removing most of those template restrictions. That's what we're going to do. That's our plan. We want to make the platform work for everybody. We want to make it exciting for people. And so when I go into create new, just to show you guys a little bit, right here, this is what it would look like. You can create your template in here. You have about 4 template variations with an alternative message as well. And what that does is it really helps you keep your messages personalized. right? The more variations you have, the more personalized your messages are going to be. And that's how you stand out. You don't know how many people are texting that same person. You want to be able to be the person that actually stands out to people. Now, again, you have message one, two, three, and four as your main variations. The alternative message is there to make sure that everybody is getting that message sent out. So let's say you imported someone without a first name, they're going to get that alternative message. They're going to make sure that they're going to get hit, right? Um, with those messages. You also can see here average delivery and response rates, and then your quick replies and your follow-up message. It's pretty simple, right? We've made it all into one space so that people can just click through them. We can go through, give you some templates, work on best practices, work on approach, and so on. Now, this is where you would send your batches. So again, batch sending is super easy as well. You just let me show you guys right here. You just select your campaign, you would select your template, and then you would select your batch size. Once you've selected your batch size, it's just click. You just click, you send those messages out. And as Matthew and Frank mentioned, you get replies while you're sending out the batch. So that's super, super nice to hear. And I've heard that quite a lot through the user base. And here
It's
is,
very, very
yes.
motivating, I'll tell you that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's cool, especially sometimes we have a call called like a live batch send where people can send their first batch with their dedicated TME. And we've gotten a lot of stories like lately of they're sending that batch together and they just see replies coming in. And people they feel good. They're like, okay, I've invested my money in the right thing, right? Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Here is the drip automations, which I think was it Matthew? You were like, that's the best part. That's where I make the money in the drip automations. But here's where they are, right? So you can set up on what day you want that drip to go out, which is an automated message. It's a follow-up message that ensures that you're keeping in touch with those prospects, that you're staying on top of their um, mind. And basically, you can set the days how you want, but we usually say it's good to have a long term, a short term drip, and then have drips based off of what that person actually is. You know, are they a warm lead? Are they nurture? Have they ghosted you? Are they not ready yet? Just to keep it personalized. The personalized touch adds all of that value. Um, and I think that that's where I'm going to stop with my little demo. It's just to give you guys a little bit of an overview, how the features work, what we have available, how the platform works. It's super easy friendly as well, and easy friendly, user friendly as well. And I think Matthew and Frank can attest to that too. But I will stop sharing my screen so Matthew can get back to the presentation, and then we can go through questions like that as well. Okay.
Brilliant. Thanks, Mia.
No
I was just going
worries.
to add a couple of points, actually. I think one of the one of the really interesting things that we found is that the reason we started using launch control is because we wanted faster responses and we wanted to not get hit every month with thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of direct mail postage costs. So for
Yes.
us, although you sometimes look at, say, the response rates and you think, oh, are these good? Are these bad? We have to look at it in isolation of, okay, this is a campaign. It's been run on an SMS system and we're getting a very high deliverability. We're also getting instant responses. Whereas when we were doing direct mail, we could be waiting 2 to 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden Frank could start getting calls or even getting PAs back or even getting rude notes. So this is just so fast, it's so quick, and that's why it works really, really well. And I think it's really important for people to understand that because the faster you get the message out, the faster you can find out, well, is this county worth actually investing more time and effort into? For instance, if say you find a county and it says, okay, there's possibly 8 or 10,000 leads here, because there sometimes can be, you don't want to send that out straight away. You want to do a test.
Right.
Obviously, that test will then allow you to understand, well, is it actually worth me doing? So yeah, it's brilliant for that.
Right. Right. And let me answer this question here super quickly for Mark. Technically, within launch control, we don't really do like a per text cost. We want to make sure that everything's predictable for you. So we don't charge for things like, incoming messages and drips and follow-up messages. And if people are writing with you to you within the inbox, we don't charge for those things. It's like a flat fee for your messages, and our costs are, for example, let's say you have for the new plans, right now you have 750 daily messages and 12,500 on the light, and that goes for 497 a month, and then it goes all the way up to our Enterprise C plan, which is around $6,000 a month, but you do get 12,000 daily messages and 300,000 monthly. So we do have plans for all types of players, Mark, and we can help you out with that if you're more interested later down the line, and get in touch with our team. So
The
Yeah,
thing I'll say is it's night and day, direct mail. We did direct mail. We made a little bit of money. I mean, it proved that the concept worked, but I'd go down to the mailbox and I'd get a stack of letters this thick, right? And then you open them. They're all Nixies or old men in their underwear saying, remove me now. How dare you? And you get one or two good PAs out of it. Whereas with this, you just get right to the business at hand very quickly. There's no lag time. I mean, Matthew, when we did direct mail, what was it, like a 2 or 3 week lead time?
yeah.
For the time we picked our counties, then 2 or 3 week lead time to get set up, then another week for it to hit the mail, and then you're trying to figure out what kind of response rate you got. This is just, you can't even compare it to direct mail, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
good to
Which
hear.
kind of leads us nicely on to the next slide, which is why a lot of people kind of fall out or stall out in terms of getting going with land. I think one of them is the fact that there is possibly too many tools that people could be doing, and it's all very easy once you start building a land business to start uh, building a CRM and then having a website and then using an SMS system and this, that, and the other. And it really affects you if you're just scattergun approach, which then comes into having no operating rhythm. And I think one of the things that we really focused on is how do you build an operating rhythm on a daily basis so that everyone is fully aware of what's happening, what's expected, when are things going, when the tags implemented, when are the drips going out, so that you get into
Yeah.
that regular rhythm of what is going on in the business versus going from SMS to say cold call to say direct mail to doing social media marketing. It's just too much. Uh, Too many opinions too. Uh, Whenever you talk to anybody about anything, everyone's got an opinion on does it work or doesn't it work or does it sound dodgy or doesn't it, for instance. And when we first got started, lots of people had opinions on, oh, is this a real business? This is viable? Does it work? Well, yeah, several $1 million later, yeah, it works for sure. So there are just too many opinions out there that sometimes you have to filter out that noise for sure. And the last one, which is probably the most important one for us, is you have to have a clear decision framework. And what I mean by that is that it's easy to find a deal, it's more difficult to find a good deal. We could do deals
Mhm.
every single day, but they wouldn't be good deals. So we have to have that
Right.
kind of decision framework in place to be able to categorize it, decide whether it's good or bad, have some cadence around the criteria that you want to stick to and make sure you stick to it, and then follow through. Without that, it becomes very difficult. And that's why a lot of people then get into inertia of, oh, there's so many things to do and I don't know how to do it. In essence, you could start a land business part-time and you could spend a little bit of time on it every day and you could start to build it up over time, providing that you have some of these rhythms and decision frameworks in place.
Yeah, yeah. And what you mentioned about part-time, I think some people, when they're starting out, they do have to keep their other job while they're starting out. But in the end, it pays off, right? All your hard work, and it's going to be probably hard in the beginning. It does pay off, and it pays off when you have people to support you in it as well. And that's why I don't know, I guess that's why we like to work with good partners too, like you guys that support people, right? You have to have a good support system and a good educational system. And so, Matthew, I don't know if you wanted to touch on maybe another slide. I know we had this was a great. I loved like talking with you guys and things like that. And with everyone participating, that's what I love to hear. And usually my webinars go so so much over. But Matthew, if you want, maybe after this slide, we can go so you guys have a chance to show the QR code and talk about you guys, and so people can kind of get to know on that educational aspect as well. And we can talk a little bit more about like launch leads too. We can go through that just so that if anyone has to leave at time, we can keep it over, but everyone gets that information as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's entirely up to. I mean, we did prepare we did prepare quite a few slides that we haven't got through,
Right?
so we can rock and roll through this.
Yeah.
Uh, Frank, do you want to
Well,
talk on this one
yeah.
quickly?
Um, this is, you know, better leads. People say, "Oh, I just need better leads and things will start working." Well, leads don't fix execution. And as Matthew says in the slide here, SMS amplifies broken systems. So if you don't have good practice and procedures in place, it's going to go real bad real fast. All you're going to do is get a bigger mess on your floor. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just, you have to set up the basics correctly because you can and will scale if you do this right. And I can definitely tell you more volume equals more chaos without structure. It
That's
got to a
right.
point where I could not, honestly, I couldn't handle all the leads that we had. I physically could not do that. If I wanted to, I couldn't do it. So you have to plan straight out of the gate for success and expect success and just put the work in.
That's right. That's right. And you have to have some structure. I don't think you can do anything without structure and without support and without, let's say, reporting and tracking things. And as you mentioned, you don't really want to have a lot of chaos. You want to make sure it's a little bit structured there as well. And I know, I think that maybe some of these slides, if like people here, I think that there's a lot of people here that would be interested to hear what you guys say. And I wanted to kind of talk about this QR code here if there's anybody that is interested. And I think that Matthew and Frank have a lot to say. And I love hearing them and working with them. And I think that what we've heard today kind of proves that what they do works with the lead that we had come in through the webinar, like while we were doing the webinar, which is great. But I will take it and leave it with you guys to explain how people can get in touch with you. And then we'll go over on the launch control end. But this was really, really awesome. And thank you for everyone for participating as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Mia. So,
Absolutely.
uh, Land Formula is really all about supporting investors who want to do land and do it professionally and at scale. And we realized, some time ago that what we were doing, other people were also trying to replicate. And, we managed to pick people up here and there at different events that we are going to, wanted to learn what we were doing. So we decided to put this into a proper, I guess, full-blown support mechanism through coaching and helping people get from A to B. And our system is built on launch control, uh, and that takes you to a certain level, and then beyond that, we then go on to other things, which we talk about in the program. And this is just a chance to have a discovery call with us, just to have a chat, see where you are, see if we can help. There's no pressure or anything. We're both very nice guys, and
That's
really
true.
just to
Yes.
see if that's something we can help you with, because we're very passionate about helping people who do want to make a land business work, and we've proven that it can be done. And now what we're looking to do is help some other people do that too. And it helps us as well because some of our students bring us deals all the time that they either can't fund and we can help them sometimes with funding, or they want to flip it to us and we'll take it over, particularly if it's, say, a larger deal. And on the flip side, we do the same with our students too. So we have deals where maybe our margin isn't quite enough for us because we have higher costs and operating costs and a certain criteria we're aiming to. We can swap deals between the group. So really, really interesting. I don't know if you want to add anything onto that, Frank.
Well, what I'll say is everything we teach is stuff that we've done. There's no theory here. So if you're serious about taking your business, your land business to the next level, I would say just have a talk with us. Grab the QR code, book your time, and let's talk about if it's a good fit. We both love teaching. I mean, this is, we had people teach us the business. And one of the things I'll say that I like about us is we've learned from this person, these guys here, and we put it all together in one best practices package of coaching. And you need somebody. The chat boards are great, but man, there's times you need somebody on the phone, and the numbers in these deals, I mean, geez, just like one deal pays for us. You know what I mean? It's not a lot of money compared to what other people are asking. Other people are asking a lot more for a lot less. And you get two people here that have covered both sides of the street. In other words, Matthew's got the technical stuff. I have the sales and marketing stuff, and it all comes together nicely. So I would just say scan the QR code and book a call with us. It's no obligation. It's got to be a good fit. We're not looking for everybody, but if you're
Right, right.
serious, we'd love to talk.
Well, awesome. And I can attest to that. You guys are great to work with. I love chatting with you guys. And I think that just the webinar that we did today does prove that you guys know what you're talking about and you've been through it. It's not like, oh, I've never seen this platform and I just run a business. You guys have done it. You built it from the ground up. And I love to see it as well. So I encourage everyone to schedule that chat with Matthew and Frank. And then on our end as well within launch control. So everybody that is here today, you guys can kind of reach out to us and we will give everyone here today that is not signed up for launch control yet a 7-day free trial on the platform. As with Matthew and Frank, as they said, there's no obligation. You don't have to pay for anything before you start the trial. What that's going to look like is more specifically, you get to play around, right? You get to make some templates, you get to create some campaigns, you get to go through the inbox. You can set up your CRM. You also get the chance to have your 10 DLC information pre-checked before you pay. That's one of the biggest hurdles that people have. So we've kind of allowed our support analyst team to jump on a call with you and give you some tips, campaign creation, templates, whatever that may be. And again, the most important part, get your 10 DLC information pre-checked before you submit and before you pay. So with Matthew and Frank and with what we're doing to support you guys, it's a great system. I think it works well together. On the other hand, as well, we also have a done for you service called Launch Leads. They are great people to work with. They take pride in what they do. They do really good quality work. So if you're also interested in that, you can reach out to our team too, just to get a little bit more information, right? I mean, some people just want to be in on it. And get tips from people like Frank and Matthew from the land formula, and then have somebody else do the work for them, which is absolutely okay. We want to make sure that we're accessible to people. We want to make it accessible through either education or doing it for you. So whatever that may be, you guys can reach out to us and let us know. But first and foremost to Matthew and Frank with the land formula. And I think that is about it. I don't know if you guys want to add anything or if anyone has any last minute questions that they would like us to ask us.
Well, no, I mean we had quite a large number of slides we didn't get through, but that's fine. We'll do something
We
another
can do part
time.
two.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we can do something another
absolutely.
time for sure. But yeah, I think for me, it's really just a case of we've really focused hard over these last 2 years or so to systemize, automate, and scale everything we do, and that's why we're in a really good position now of being able to
Good.
help others do that same thing if that's something that people are interested in.
Perfect. And I see that Dan does have a question. Dan, I saw your question earlier, so I do apologize for missing it. One thing we do not support right now is the automatic replying with the inbox. I think for us, it's more so you want to make sure you have that personal touch with people and add it. We don't want to make it sound robotic. You are literally chatting with these people on their phone, so you want to make it look like texting. So right now, we do not support the connect with an API for automatic reply in the inbox. But as I mentioned, the platform was built from features from users. So any feature request that people have, we take it to heart, we bring it to our product team, we take a look at it. So it's all good. We'll take all the feature requests we can get. And I think that we're good. I think that we're good. And Matthew and Frank, thank you so much for today. I had a really good time with you guys, as I always do when I'm chatting with you. You guys are the absolute like best people to talk to, I think, right now for me. I think it's cool. You guys got a lot of information. You have a lot of, I think, trust with people. Thank you. um, and that is about it. I'm hoping for part two. I'm hoping for part two and hope to see you guys soon and get in touch over the new plans to get you guys transferred as well.
Definitely. Sounds
Okay.
good.
Excellent.
Thanks
Awesome.
for
Thank you.
organising me, and
Thanks, everybody.
thanks everybody.
Thank you, everyone. I hope everyone has a great rest of your week and hopefully to see you guys and get in touch and get things rolling.